My name is Charlie Engen. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I play in the bands Scale the Summit and Ideology. So I got into music at a pretty young age. My uncles both played guitar and drums, and they bought me a drum set at 2. And so I just started playing, and my parents always would bring me to rock concerts and stuff in the late 80s and early 90s, and so kind of just grew up jamming, and then kept it going into my teens where I started to take it a little more seriously, and I'd listen to the prog bands like Rush and Dream Theater and stuff like that, and so I got into kind of that techie metal stuff, and then as well as like fusion guys like Dave Weckl and Dennis Chambers and stuff. So I kept playing through, and then I went to college and got my master's degree in music as well, and then just been jamming in bands and teaching ever since. My main drum set is a Tama Star Classic Maple. Generally I use Remo Emperor tops and Ambassador bottoms, clear. And then snare drums I switch up, but I really like the P77 is my main go-to. And then kick drum head-wise, I've been bouncing between the Power Sonic, the Remo Power Sonic, and then even I've been trying to black dot lately that I really like. Vinyl cymbals, I've got some go-tos, like the dual crashes are a big one of mine, and just the Byzance, the regular Byzance stuff is big for me. My ride is the 22-inch heavy, which I've been sticking with pretty much all the time. Yeah, I tune for the more, punchy, open sound, but definitely not high range. I'd call it like medium to high tuning, especially in the rack toms, and then in the floor toms a little lower. So I kind of tune my toms higher on the range on the rack toms and lower on the floors. So they still sound good together when you play them down the line. I always do one head at a time, start with the bottom head, give a nice push in the middle when they're brand new, and I just I get the lugs finger tight, and I try to just get them balanced right off the bat, give them a little tension. That's where I check it with my DrumDial and just make sure it's even, and I'm starting at an even spot. And then from there, if I want to raise and lower, it's not so hard for me to know what I'm doing. DrumDial for me, what it really helps in the studio and live is just getting my drums right back to where I kind of had them, and it's not a big fight to find the sound that I was currently at, if you will. And it really just helps me always get my consistent sound, and get there quick. What would be considered my secret weapon would probably just be like my use of stickings. I can make one sticking sound like a lot of things, where I'll get questions a lot like, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? And essentially it's always just broken stickings, like paradiddle permutations, spread out around the kit and stuff like that. Some advice I would have, especially for an up-and-coming drummer or just somebody new to the instrument, is to just really try to have fun with it and do your own thing, and don't be too fixated on trying to be something that you think somebody else wants you to be and play like. I mean, obviously your influences are one thing, but to take your influences and turn them into your own thing is really important, and don't get too trapped into the whole social media circus. Like don't fret about what somebody says negatively about your playing. Just keep posting stuff and do your thing, because you'll grow so much faster than if you're afraid to post a video because you're afraid what somebody's going to say about your playing. So just kind of do your thing and don't be afraid to share it.